So, why happiness never lasts and the secret answer to everlasting happiness in every moment. I'm going to provide scientific studies with evidence and facts to back up and prove everything I'm saying. So, stay with me. I'm also going to provide facts and truth and evidence about specific reasons that you, me, and all humanity, why it hasn't worked for us. And I'm also going to provide the answer. So stay with me. And this will be a short video, but it's going to be backed up and supported with proof of everything I'm saying. So why doesn't happiness last? And the reason is, it is this simple. Everything that we believe about happiness depends on us creating something outside of ourself, outside of our consciousness, and everything, or all of our life experiences, everything actually happens within here, within our mind and our consciousness. While we see everything outside of ourselves as separate, the reality is no matter what is happening on outside of yourself, you experience everything within yourself, within your mind and your consciousness. And so the reason why happiness never lasts, and the reason is we have a belief that our happiness is dependent on external circumstances. And that is with everybody in humanity, including you. And this is the first fact and truth I'm sharing with you. Then I'm going to get into the scientific studies that validate and prove everything. And you can even check out those studies. So first, our false beliefs, everything we believe is that our happiness is somehow dependent on external events or circumstances, whether it's obtaining the great job, the amazing salary, infinite financial abundance, the amazing spouse that we want, the beautiful house, the amazing yacht, whatever it is. And those are all wonderful things. And it's important to have goals, and you will attain them with the answer I'm giving you. It is certain. But those are all external things. And what if it doesn't happen? What if you don't find the perfect spouse or the amazing job or the whatever accomplishment is? But the truth is that we believe our happiness is dependent on achieving those outcomes. And the reality and the absolute, and that is a false belief. And I'm going to get into that definition in a second. But the truth is, it is based on our unconditional love. That is how we can experience bliss and inner peace and joy, the greatest of happiness in every way, through fulfillment and meaning and purpose. It is through unconditional love. But because we've had this false belief, which I have had and you have had and all of humanity has had, that's why we're not experiencing the joy and the bliss and the happiness in every moment. And then once you begin experiencing this joy and bliss and happiness, which I'm going to share in this video of how to achieve that. So stay with me. This is a short video, and I'm going to back it with absolute facts and verifiable data and evidence. So stay with me. The reason that we're not able to achieve and live this inner bliss and inner peace all the time is because of this false belief and countless other ones that we all have had, that is dependent on external circumstances. And the reality, once you understand how to live in your unconditional love, you are then experiencing inner peace in every moment and absolute unconditional love, which manifests as happiness, joy, bliss, fulfillment, meaning in every moment. And it's before you attain any of these things that you have previously believed would create the happiness, that you had to attain these certain things, whatever it is, and it varies with every person, as far as in order for you to begin experiencing happiness. And that false belief, we are with that specific false belief and every false belief, we are being conditional with ourselves. We are not allowing ourselves, because of that belief, because of the condition we put on ourselves with that false belief, we are not allowing ourselves to experience the inner peace, the joy, the happiness, the fulfillment and meaning in every moment. We're not allowing ourselves to experience that. And we are saying to ourselves through that belief, I can only experience the happiness, the inner peace, the joy, fulfillment I can only experience it if I attain this certain goal, and we all have different goals. And once I attain that, then I can begin experiencing. So we're literally not allowing ourselves and not giving ourselves permission to experience it right now, right in this moment and every moment. And the reality is, once you begin living in this joy and inner peace, happiness, fulfillment, meaning, you literally you're no longer have any attachment to whatever it is you're achieving. It's still just as important, but you're not attached to the outcome because you already have all of this amazing experiences within you. And that ensures that you're going to create and manifest and attract all of those goals. They are absolutely going to happen. But the best part is you're going to enjoy the journey. We all have had experiences because we're being conditional and we're not allowing ourselves to access our unconditional love. We literally are making the journey when we're trying to accomplish any goal and every goal, whether it's the financial independence and wealth, the creating the either the amazing company that we're starting, or whether it's creating the amazing job or attaining the amazing job that we want with financial abundance and doing whatever work it is that we intend to do, or trying to attract the amazing spouse or anything else. We're not enjoying that journey because we have believed that we cannot be happy. We are not allowing ourselves to be happy until we attain whatever that goal is. And because we have that false belief, along with countless others, even when we attain whatever the goal is, we experience happiness, but it is a certainty, and you can relate to it yourself. Think of any goal that you had, however big or however long it took you to achieve it. Rarely, almost never, does anyone enjoy the work and the efforting, because it is effort when you're not connecting to your true unconditional love. So you're not enjoying the journey to achieving that goal. You're creating stress through other false beliefs. And so you don't enjoy the journey, you attain the goal, and then you experience happiness on a somewhat good level, but you're still, because of the conditions you placed on yourself, you're not giving yourself permission to experience the bliss and the joy and the inner peace. So you have a fleeting moment of happiness. And generally it lasts days for people when they've even accomplished a big goal, maybe weeks, but at most it lasts a few months. And that is it. And that is a certainty with all of us, because we're not allowing ourselves to experience what is already within us to experience, and we were meant to experience. And with this answer I'm going to share with you, it works, and it works every time. So let me just transition to the answer as far as unconditional love. The unconditional love, even if you studied and began to learn what unconditional love is, you would not be able to live it in every moment and apply it as far as even acting that way within yourself unless you remove, for example, the false belief I just gave in the beginning of this video that we all have. If you are not able to remove that false belief and other false beliefs that are connected to that, as well as all the other false beliefs, you're not going to be able to access and live in this joy and inner peace and bliss and fulfillment and meaning all the time. But it is easy. I realized in 1994, when I was about 21 years old, that unconditional love is the answer for everything. And I thought it would be quick and easy to begin living it. And I didn't even realize that false beliefs is what, with certainty, prevents us from accessing our unconditional love. So it took me 31 more years until the last year and this year was the final pieces of understanding everything. And I promise this process works. So let me just define a false belief, and then I'm going to provide the scientific studies that have been published in medical journals that verify everything I'm saying. So please stay with me. The false belief that, and there are countless ones we all have, is always based in a belief about some aspect of yourself that is based in fear and doubt about some aspect of yourself. And so the example that I gave in the beginning of this video about believing that we cannot experience happiness until we achieve some goal or outcome, that false belief is that we don't have unconditional love within us. We don't believe that we can experience all of that joy and bliss and inner peace in every moment, regardless of where you are, whether it's in poverty, you have no friends, you don't have the spouse you want, you're poor, and you don't have the financial independence. Doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you intend to achieve and attain, you can begin experiencing all of this right now. So that is a false belief. The answer always comes from unconditional love. And once you begin to access parts of unconditional love, just by recognizing this is a false belief, it opens the door. So you have to identify the initial complete false belief. And there are several core false beliefs that you have to identify initially. Why it's so difficult and why it's been so difficult for all humanity is because while we have these false beliefs and we hold on to them and we believe they're true, because the universe reflects back to us what we're attracting, which is that it is true, whatever false belief we have, we are not able to access or connect with the unconditional love as far as the wisdom and the understanding of what the absolute truth is based from unconditional love. And that's why it's been so hard. The answer is actually easy once you begin to connect to your unconditional love. But first you have to identify the false beliefs. So it almost sounds like a paradox that, well, how can you identify the false beliefs if you can't access your unconditional love? There's a base level of understanding that we all can connect to some degree with our conditional love to our unconditional love at a level that as long as we have an open mind that we have false beliefs, just that recognition, then we can begin connecting to enough of the unconditional love to begin identifying the false beliefs and realizing and then removing them. But it has been so difficult because of that paradox of that situation. So let me just get into the false belief that I identified already that we all have is simply the answer, and the absolute truth is I can and you can experience inner peace and joy, bliss, happiness, fulfillment, meaning everything, and purpose, meaning in every moment, right now and in every moment. And it is not dependent or related in any way on external circumstances. And it doesn't matter what your present situation is in any way. And this is an absolute truth. If you're willing to believe that and to have an open mind that that is absolutely true, then you can remove that. And you need to have the specific, complete answer, the absolute truth to the specific and complete false belief. So we have to identify the complete false belief, because if you only identify part of the false belief, and in this case, there generally are multiple false beliefs all connected, that if you only identify one false belief and there's another one connected to this that you have, essentially you've only created a key that is halfway made for the lock. The lock is the false belief. And that lock of the false belief prevents you from opening the door to accessing your unconditional love. And from that unconditional love is the wisdom. It also is the inner peace, what we think of as happiness, joy, fulfillment, meaning, purpose. All of that is the unconditional love. And so you have to identify the complete false belief. That allows you to identify through unconditional love the absolute and complete detailed absolute truth that removes that false belief. And that is exactly how it works. It is that simple, and it is absolutely that true. When I first tried this decades ago, I identified a false belief, but I only identified part of it. So it was like having a key that was halfway made to unlock the door. And so it wasn't working, and I couldn't understand why. It took many more years. It took 10, 15 more years before I could figure that out. I mean, as simple as this is, it seemed that complicated because I thought I had identified the whole answer. And it was just going deeper and recognizing that there was more to the false belief. And I have developed a process that truly works to identify every false belief, every single false belief. And some of them we have on our subconscious level, because a lot of these false beliefs we've learned through our childhood. And for me personally, they were so uncomfortable, the false beliefs, that I didn't want to feel that type of pain and discomfort all the time. And so I began pushing it down, suppressing it, and denying that I even had it. So by the time I became an adult, I didn't even realize or remember having those false beliefs. The pain hadn't gone away. I had suppressed it. So on some levels, it felt numb, but it would actually come out in different experiences, similar experiences that kept coming up in my life over and over. And I was feeling this tremendous discomfort and pain in different ways through different emotions and thoughts, whether it was insecurity or other feelings from this false belief. And I wasn't aware that I had it. And even if someone had come to me and said I had that false belief, I would have said, no, I don't. I would have been in true denial because I wasn't aware, truly aware that I had it. But this process works with all false beliefs, and it helps you absolutely understand and recognize that you have it. More importantly, how to identify in detail the complete false belief, and then to remove it quickly with an absolute truth from unconditional love that will, and once you embrace that absolute truth, it's gone. And then you simply just repeat that absolute truth for a period of several days, a few weeks, where you're just retraining your consciousness and your subconsciousness to clear it out completely. But literally within the first day, you'll feel that it is gone. You just need to retrain your consciousness and your subconsciousness to ensure that it's gone completely and that you don't connect to any part of that false belief anymore. It is that simple. Let me get to the scientific data that verifies everything I'm saying. So there have been many studies, and I list them, different studies in the videos that I've provided. This study is called Fredrickson et al. 2008. You can look it up. It was performed by a doctor, a psychologist from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and it essentially is on loving kindness meditation is what was performed, and all the participants in this study were asked to practice loving kindness meditation to essentially utilize their understanding and their version of love, for love, practicing loving kindness in the daily meditation. So even with that very limited understanding of conditional love and blocking most of their true unconditional love, the results were amazing. People actually did begin to experiencing aspects of bliss and joy, and stress and anxiety also went away. People that were suffering with depression, that mitigated and reduced significantly. And the reality, which confirms everything I'm saying, if this study and every other study on the heart-mind connection had been done, as I am saying, with unconditional love and understanding that it simply is knowing how to identify each and every false belief that we have, which truly does block and prevent us from accessing our unconditional love, which is the only true form of love, absolutely, with certainty. And if they had performed the study that way, I can guarantee you, and I know with certainty, that the success would be 100% in every study, with certainty, because they'd be accessing, and you would be accessing, the fullness of your unconditional love in every moment. It is that true and that certain. And that is as simple as it is. And so this study actually confirms everything I'm saying. The results were amazing. Many of the participants had great success, and there were probably a good number that had very minimal success. The reason is because every person in the study utilized their own understanding of conditional love, which is all we have known. And the reality is, unconditional love is who we have always been. Before we came to this earth, that's who we were. And when we return, that is who we are. It's only as temporary as long as we hold these false beliefs. And that is it. And you don't have to remain with any of these false beliefs. I promise you. I have developed 2 courses that are solely for anyone that wants to live in unconditional love, to experience bliss and joy and happiness and fulfillment and meaning in every moment. And it is that incredible. And so you're no longer attached to the things. You still want to achieve them just as much, but you're not attached to the outcome because you're already living everything that you wanted, that you thought you had to attain from some external goal in order to experience this, which is, again, a false belief. So you're, by experiencing all of this amazing joy and fulfillment and bliss and peace in every moment, those goals that you want to achieve, they with certainty will occur, and they will actually manifest faster than they ever could in any way that people have achieved them as far as being conditional with their love and efforting and struggling. You won't be efforting. You will be doing whatever work you need to do to accomplish those goals, but you will do it with effortless ease and joy and inner peace. And with our unconditional love, we also, our intuition becomes a knowing. So you know what the optimal answer is for decisions, for small things and big things, to help you with everything in your life, including achieving every goal that you wish to achieve and attract and create in your life. It is that true. So these two programs that I have created, one is a 8-week course, the other is a year-long course. They both are phenomenal. These are the best, two most important courses in all humanity. These are the two best courses on this planet. I promise you that. Ultimately, this is what we all are searching for. This is the answer to everything, I promise you. So the 8-week program, I spend the first 6 days on live Zoom calls with you and a small group of participants on a live Zoom call for 3 hours each day for the first 6 days. We are going through all of your false beliefs. We are removing them. We're identifying every detailed false belief completely, every detailed absolute truth in detail from unconditional love, and we are removing them. And then you're practicing. It's only 10, 15 minutes a day. It's that simple as far as retraining your conscious and subconsciousness. And literally by the 6th day, we will have removed the vast, vast majority of all your false beliefs. And you will be living in unconditional love with certainty, inner peace, bliss, fulfillment, meaning, literally by day 6. And it is an absolute certainty. And the remaining 7 weeks of this course, then we are also having 3 to 4 hour live Zoom calls, videos, weekly, in which we continue for the next 2nd and 3rd week, just removing some of the few remaining false beliefs that you may have. We're also delving deeper and deeper, as we did beginning in week 1, into unconditional love. And you're advancing and growing and evolving in the most amazing of ways. By the day 30, you are truly free of all false beliefs, and you are living in unconditional love permanently in every aspect of yourself. It is that true. And then the remaining 4 weeks, so week 5 to week 8, we then are exploring other amazing superpowers. One is the intuition that becomes a knowing that I mentioned. And check out the video because I don't have time to go into that right here, but there is a video that you can check out that is on the knowing, a superpower, and it explains everything, but it is the ability to know anything and everything on any topic. It really is that amazing. And this program is $25,000, and it is well worth it. It is amazing. Simply just check within your heart if you feel that this is the answer that you've always been searching for. The other program is a year-long program. This is the doctorate level degree program for somebody who wants to go to the fullness and the completeness of unconditional love fully and completely and as quickly as they possibly can. So this is even more comprehensive. So the first 6 days of this year-long program, I spend with you in person, and it's a very small group for the benefits of achieving all these goals. So I spend the first 6 days all day, each of the first 6 days with you live in person. and we're reviewing everything as far as the false beliefs and unconditional love, clearing out all those false beliefs. Each of the remaining 11 months, I spend 5 days in person with you. Each of those remaining 11 months, all day, each day for 5 days of the remaining 11 months. And each week of the 12 months, we are also doing live Zoom calls for 3 to 4 hours each week. And we are going into depth and the most advanced understanding of all of this unconditional love, as well as the knowing. And there are also many other facets, not just the knowing, but that's the one that I wanted to highlight in another video. But there are also many other areas that we will be exploring and you will be growing in within your unconditional love that truly are superpowers. There are many amazing superpowers that we have, not just the knowing, but many others that I'm not going into here. So please check out the video on knowing and just listen to your heart. If you feel that this program and the 12-month program is $150,000, and I promise you it is the greatest program in the world. It is absolutely true. I mean, people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on college and university, which is also wonderful for certainly, but this exceeds any program on the planet. I promise you, it is what we all have been wanting to experience. Even the universities that people attended, it was because it was going to provide them the experience and attainment of the happiness, which unfortunately it doesn't. It's not that it's not worth attending a marvelous university, but that doesn't create the happiness. This is what creates everything, as well as being the creator that you want and creating every experience you want, including financial wealth and independence, but everything else that you could possibly imagine. And if you feel in your heart that one of these two programs is the answer for you, please check the description section of this video below. There are 2 links, one for each of the programs. And so if you feel that in your heart and inspired that this is the answer, then click on one of those 2 links below in the description section and sign up for this program. It is the most amazing program on the planet, I promise you. I send you love, joy, and peace.